Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 582 based on novel. So let's start. The Holy King and Xiao Tianming were constantly fighting in the evil formation, trying to completely disintegrate the plan of the heavenly demon Holy Emperor, but faced with the sacrifice of countless evil creatures, the pressure doubled for a while, and the speed of progress was as slow as a snail. As a last resort, after fighting for a while, he also returned to the place where the coalition army was located, but the strength and aura of the heavenly demon Holy Emperor in the distance, but, with the passage of time, soared rapidly. At the same time, the blood in the evil formation was tumbling, and the countless blood coffins and the evil creatures behind them all turned into a source of evil that people are suffocating, and they poured into the heavenly demon Holy Emperor almost like a black hole. On the body of Xiao Yan, in the gorgeous clouds above the sky, no one knows the current situation behind him, but the coercion of heaven and earth looming above the sky is still shuddering, and the whole situation seems anxious for a while. Down. Tianming, you and I join forces, with the power of the coalition forces, to try to completely disintegrate the plan of the heavenly demon Holy Emperor. Go on, everyone. After hesitating for a moment, the radiance of the holy flame around the Holy King appeared stronger. Obviously, this is the only way to do it now. Two seniors, wait a moment. After some twists and turns, the Holy King and others tried to break through the evil formation with more elites from the coalition, but Mu Yingying behind them stopped everyone's actions. Mu Yingying's eyes, full of spirituality, kept staring at the heavenly demon Sage Emperor in the high-altitude evil formation, as if she had sensed something. Yingying, what's wrong? Facing Mu Yingying's sudden words, Yaro Ji, Lei Zhu, and others hurriedly turned their attention to the latter's body. Seniors, I have a word. I always feel that these extraterritorial evil races are neither human nor any living beings. They seem to be just the prototype of a ray of energy. If you want to completely obliterate them, you need to kill the source. Mu Yingying looked very solemn and said solemnly, word by word. Not a person, nor a living being, but an energy. In this world, who else can possess such great power? As soon as Mu Yingying said these words, countless strong men of the great thousand allied forces were dumbfounded, all staring at Mu Yingying in stunned eyes. My predecessor was the spirit of holy flame, and I have a very keen sense of smell for the holy spirit of heaven and earth. In fact, I noticed it a long time ago, but I have never been sure. The war between heaven and earth has begun. With the constant battle between our great Thousand Alliance army and the outside world, coupled with the fall of the shadow of the Dark Descendants, my guess has been confirmed. Mu Yingying's spiritual eyes seemed to be filled with some kind of profound meaning that was hard to put into words. What guess? At this moment, the Holy King, Xiao Tianming, and others also stopped the offensive in their hands, and then focused their eyes on Mu Yingying. I suspect, the Emperor of the Demons, the shadows of the Dark Descendants, and even a lot of extraterrestrial evil clan powerhouses, all have the evil pattern of the leader of the extraterritorial existence, and that pattern is not rewarded by the leader of the extraterritorial. On the contrary, it's more like being born with it. I think, they're probably all part of the extraterritorial leader. If you want to completely end the war between heaven and earth, you must kill the leader outside the territory. The next moment, Mu Yingying's voice came out again, and just after the voice fell, the faces of countless strong men instantly turned pale. You mean? The existence of the evil race outside the territory is actually the work of the first person outside the territory? This is simply incredible. Mu Yingying's shocking words had just ended, and everyone shook their heads in unison, looking at her in disbelief. If this is the case, then the powerhouses of the foreign evil races who have fallen before may still return completely in some way. In that case, the situation of the Great Thousand World will still be in jeopardy. That catastrophic situation is obviously not what everyone wants to see. Boom. Between the heavens and the earth, there are constantly roars resounding through the sky, and every roaring sound will shock everyone's hearts and souls violently, as if there is some unparalleled evil in the world, which is slowly born. Boom. The sound was incessant, and there was an endless monstrous sound again, and then the evil formation began to shatter, and countless evil rays of light gathered in an instant, as if an endless sea of blood was spreading out, exuding a terrifying wave that made people palpitate. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but look up at the endless sea of blood, and there was a deep despair in their hearts. At the end of the blood sea, there is an evil and complex halo flickering, and there is even a power that transcends everything. The light of chaos turned slightly, and then brought out the evil figure in the sea of blood to the fullest. At the end of the sea of blood, thousands of blood waves were stirred up, and the thick power was suffocating, and there were many young figures standing in the air. That figure was dressed in a jet-black robe, and when the robe swayed in the wind, there were countless screams of miserable resentment, and on the latter's handsome face, there were dark lines flickering like the brush of the gods. His eyes are as mysterious and deep as black holes, giving everyone an unfathomable feeling. Even with a slight glance, the Holy King and others clearly smelled the sharp aura on the latter's body, and it was by no means that they could compete with the ranks of the demigods. Today's heavenly demon sage sovereign is undoubtedly much stronger than before. He succeeded. Even if the fact is right in front of you, many coalition powerhouses still look at this scene in disbelief and keep muttering in their hearts. It is indeed a quasi-god rank, although it is an rank that is forcibly promoted by the power of devouring. The Holy King and Xiao Tianming shook their heads at the same time. They had been trapped at the peak of the demigods for too many years, but there was still no trace of a breakthrough. This shows how huge the gap between demigods and quasi-gods is. This desperate move by the Holy Emperor of Heaven, even if he sacrificed countless other creatures of the evil race from outside the realm, but he succeeded. With my clan's strength, help me incarnate into a quasi-god. Then, it's your doomsday. Above the huge waves of the Sea of Blood, the heavenly demon sage emperor stepped out leisurely, but the gloomy laughter was as cold as death at this time, setting off endless fear in the hearts of countless powerful allied forces. Hee heavenly demon holy emperor, what a big tone. Everyone, it's been a long wait. And just as the hands of the heavenly demon sage emperor rolled over and the endless sea of blood boiled, trying to slaughter the great 1,000 coalition army, the gorgeous clouds in the sky suddenly dispersed, and a familiar figure slowly paced when he came out. His hearty laughter was like a reassurance pill, erasing all the fears in the minds of the strong men of the great 1,000 Alliance army. In the blazing cloud layer, a towering shadow that controlled the lightning and flames roared in the sky, and then the power of countless blazing flames mixed with some kind of terrifying energy that made people worship, fell from the sky. At this moment, the world is silent for it. As this familiar voice resounded through the sky, countless strong men of the great 1,000 allied forces suddenly raised their heads and looked towards the end of the huge wave that was above the Sea of Blood. Above the sky, the endless flames and clouds slowly faded away, and a young and handsome figure was standing slightly in the air. The latter was well dressed, and his handsome face was surrounded by endless and mysterious splendor, and the darkness was as deep as an abyss. In the unfathomable eyes, there is an indescribable divine power of heaven and earth. Even if they watch it gently, the fear surging in the hearts of countless strong people because of the Emperor of the Devil disappears in an instant. It seems that he is as strong as the Demon Emperor, and under this thin figure, he is also ashamed. When Xiao Yang appeared again, Xiao Tianming, the 4 mistresses of endless fire territory reacted the most quickly. The 4 of them were the first to sense Xiao Yang's breath. The latter had just appeared in everyone's line of sight, and the eyes of the 5 were the same. It fell on Xiao Yang's body. Based on their perceptions, they knew that Xiao Yang today was completely different from the previous one. In the past, Xiao Yang, the power of the devil and the power of the holy flame in the body fused and coordinated with each other. Even if the latter deliberately suppressed his own power, the coercion released invisibly was enough to make people move. After all, it was the control of the 2 gods. Realm's demigod-level peak powerhouse. But today's Xiao Yang, although he has stepped into a quasi-divine calamity, but after carefully sensing it, it is not difficult to find that there is almost no trace of majestic energy in the latter's body. Mortals are generally ordinary. He succeeded. After a short while, the 4 mistresses smiled sweetly, and the worries in their hearts were gradually put down, and they couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. They don't know how terrifying the quasi-god robbery is. They don't know what kind of crisis Xiao Yang has gone through in order to survive the quasi-god calamity. But simply, he succeeded. This kid is really a genius of my Xiao family that has never been seen in a lifetime. Until this moment, even someone as talented as Xiao Tianming couldn't help but give Xiao Yang a thumbs up. What an unexpected ending. In an instant, the sea of blood at the core of the Buddha realm tumbled, the world turned pale, and the heavenly demon sage emperor was also standing in the waves of blood. Surprising? Maybe. Facing the posture of the heavenly demon holy emperor, Xiao Yang waved his hand and smiled. Based on his understanding of the heavenly demon sage emperor, the latter devoured countless creatures of the evil race from outside the territory and turned him into a way to be promoted to a quasi-god. How could a quasi-god today be able to intercept him? All this seems to have come to an end the moment he tried to break the boat. Now you are the last incarnation of the evil race from outside the territory, and you will be wiped out, and this battle that continues to reincarnate in the past will also come to an end. Xiao Yang raised his head, and the dark and deep eyes began to have hot light pattern fluctuations. With the surging of the light pattern, countless powerhouses could clearly feel the changes in this world. Countless forces rushed towards Xiao Yang, as if the latter was the true ruler of this world, and could control everything at will. God's realm. At this moment, the heavenly demon sage emperor, the calmness on his face has completely turned gloomy and cold. The power of the realm is self-evident, but the realm of the gods is an invincible existence that is almost immortal. Just in this god's domain, I will kill you. With the display of God's domain, the body of the heavenly demon holy emperor, which was pressed by countless divine forces, shook slightly. Susu, then try it. At the moment of such a crisis, even Xiao Yang did not realize that a round of black and white scorching sun appeared strangely at the end of the Buddha world, and then it spread little by little, even in the black and white scorching sun. At this time, it has completely evolved into an evil scorching sun that is almost pitch black, and the white energy in it is close to the brink of collapse and disappearance. The brazen guy get cash. Follow the VX public account, book Friends Basecamp, and you can also get cash. Even if you step into a quasi-god, you're still just a hairy boy. How do you compare with the races that have countless heritages outside my realm? The heavenly demon sage emperor sneered, and there seemed to be endless blood-colored turbines beginning to gather behind him. The war between heaven and earth has caused countless killings to my Dakian outside the territory. So, in this battle, pay it back. In the face of the fierce means of the heavenly demon holy emperor, Xiao Yang's eyes filled with the sky, suddenly released a ruthless killing power. Stop talking nonsense, win the king and lose the bandit. The heavenly demon holy emperor's eyes were silent, and in the turbine behind him, there were actually huge blood-colored chains that burst out. The blood-colored chains were filled with some kind of terrifying power, which just surged out, and the strange energy spread in circles, as if the whole world was shaking at this moment. Boy, take the ruler. For a time, among the thousands of coalition forces below, the Holy King, who was trying his best to use a defensive barrier to protect the many strong men, roared, slaughtered the divine ruler, and flew straight to Xiao Yang's side with his own source of flame. The source of the second holy flame and the god-slaying ruler in a complete state, just came to Xiao Yang's side, and a monstrous spirit erupted. Such divine weapons, I am afraid that only in the hands of quasi-god rank powerhouses can they truly achieve a god-killing blow. Since that's the case, then let me learn, what's the difference between your quasi-god rank who relies on crooked ways to advance, and my genuine quasi-god rank? While speaking, Xiao Yang suddenly erupted with magnificent flames of heaven and earth. As soon as the flames of heaven and earth erupted, they turned into complex and ancient sacred patterns, which were branded on the god execution ruler one after another. Originally, there were only 9 grooves on the divine ruler, but with the appearance of Xiao Yang's sky-reaching wrist, on the huge ruler of the god-slaying ruler, the grooves the size of a dragon's eye continued to emerge, and it only took an instant. Afterwards, there were as many as 33 paths. 33 holy patterns. Why are there 3 missing? Except for the mysterious and unpredictable first holy flame, and the holy flame in the main body of the central world of the human world, there seems to be another holy flame. At this moment, the Saint King below began to mutter. Obviously the latter's understanding of Saint Flame has reached a whole new level. It's the 14th ranked eternal nightmare flame. That holy flame once existed in the hands of the Soul Clan Patriarch of Dodi continent, but later the Soul Clan Patriarch accompanied the Guardian Clan seniors to investigate the location of the Dragon Clan, and the body and spirit were destroyed, and the whereabouts of the holy flame were unknown. Zunna's clear eyes flashed with some doubts. Head of the Soul Clan. Soul Tianhao? At this moment, the other 3 mistresses also exclaimed suddenly, as if they felt something. This guy's whereabouts have always been mysterious, and I always feel that when he was in Dudi continent, he secretly spied on Xiao Yang several times. I suspect that he was trying to conspire against Xiao Yang. Boom. Before everyone could finish the discussion, the offensive on the 2 sides became more and more intense on this riddled sky, and there was a vague twist in the sky. The heavenly demon sacred emperor, who was above the sea of blood, watched Xiao Yang's hands gather countless holy patterns, and immediately felt the strong crisis. Without giving the latter a chance, he instantly raised his palm and waved his sleeves abruptly. The monstrous bloodlight and the blood-colored evil chain surged, driving the violent ***** murderous aura to wreak havoc on the world, and shot towards Xiao Yang's position. Looking at the heavenly demon sage emperor, who was unwilling to retreat, Xiao Yang was puzzled, but the opponent's offensive was so fierce, he still stretched out his palm, facing those evil bloodlights and chains under the puzzled eyes of countless people. Give it a light grip. That grip was as if the divine mansion that dominated one side of the world was despising it, laughing at the disobedience of weak creatures to him. I saw the power of endless flames gushing out from Xiao Yang's palm, and then instantly wrapped around those evil bloodlights and chains. The vicious evil chain is also instantly baked by its flames, and the conspicuous cracks are constantly pouring out. Obviously, Xiao Yang, who now possesses the power of 33 holy flames, is much stronger than the heavenly demon Holy Emperor. The next moment, Xiao Yang's other palm lifted slightly, and then grabbed it towards the heavenly demon Holy Emperor at the end of the Sea of Blood, without giving the opponent any chance to breathe. In an instant, the sky was dark and the earth was dark, the entire void was fragmented, and countless holy flames swept out, turning into a gorgeous mountain of flaming flames, suppressing the Holy Emperor. Boom! The demonic energy between heaven and earth was surging, but at this moment, it was slowly burned and purified by Xiao Yang's holy flame power. The attack made by the two was extremely fierce, so that the powerhouse of the great thousand allied forces could only pray secretly in their hearts. I saw between the dim and eerie heaven and earth, two chaotic lights flickered past, scenes of flaming clouds, and waves of evil blood constantly impacted and collided, causing countless strong shockwaves of destruction along the way. The power of fierce killing intent in the sky and a gloomy and extremely vicious aura permeated the whole world, and everyone watching the battle was dazzled. The power of this guy, it's a little weird. These are the winners of our Best of Beauty Breakthrough Awards. Her beauty. Ads by Pub Future. After a simple test, the strength of the two seemed to be about the same, and then Xiao Yang set foot in the sky. At this time, in front of Xiao Yang, a huge ancient ruler full of ancient aura flickered out of thin air. It was filled with countless dizzying flame holy patterns, and even the holy flames overflowing from those holy patterns. Yang's body was completely wrapped, and a golden flame armor set off Xiao Yang's figure incomparably tall. On the other side, looking at Xiao Yang's mighty power, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor had no choice but to snort coldly. The sea of blood rolled, and there were countless ferocious blood gushing out, and then it also turned into a pitch-black magic armor. Bang bang bang! The next moment, the pupils of the two of them were filled with the same killing intent, and they suddenly charged with all their strength and punched the other side with all their strength. Gorgeous and colorful, as many as 33 sacred powers of flame fists swept across the sky, like the anger of the Emperor of Flames swept the heavens and the earth. The heavenly demon Sage Emperor also threw a punch, and the two fists with full strength collided with each other. The shock wave that devastated the sky and the earth shook back hundreds of meters, and only then did he stabilize his body. Boom! Just as Xiao Yang's body was shaken away, a crisp sound erupted from the flaming holy armor on top of his body, and his body's chi and blood tumbled. However, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor on the other side was not too bad. On the demon armor that condensed the evil aura from outside the realm, there were actually faint cracks gushing out, even on the perfect body, in the pores of the skin. Bloodshots continued to seep out. Obviously, in the fight just now, Xiao Yang had the absolute upper hand. Stabilizing his body, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor turned his head and glanced at the great thousand allied army in the distance, then shook his head. With the desperate protection of the Holy King and Xiao Tianming, two peak demigod powerhouses, it is difficult for him to completely obliterate everyone in the first place, let alone a quasi-god rank powerhouse standing in front of him. But if he can devour those living beings, of course, Xiao Yang should not be afraid of his power, but unfortunately he doesn't have that chance. After a while, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor lowered his head and glanced at the bloodshots on his skin and the cracked magic armor. His eyes gradually became crazy, he licked his scarlet lips slightly, and stared at Xiao Yang in his eyes. A chilling suffocation slowly emerged. It's really strong. But today, my purpose is not you. The Emperor of Heavenly Demons snorted coldly, his voice seemed to be filled with some kind of unprecedented madness, and all the power in the latter's body had vague traces of boiling and burning. Not us. Xiao Yang's pupils shrank slightly, a little puzzled. Now the huge alien race has turned into a source of power for the Demon Emperor to step into the quasi-god rank. As long as the latter is obliterated, the nightmare of the alien race for the vast world that lasts for thousands of years will be self-defeating. But now the latter say, what do you mean? The next moment Tianmo Holy Emperor proved the latter's idea to Xiao Yang with his actions. The sea of blood at the feet of the heavenly demon Holy Emperor instantly boiled, and in the endless sea of blood, there seemed to be some amazing aura that kept bursting out. Feeling the appearance of the violent and aura in the sea of blood, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor cracked a heartless smile, and then suddenly raised his hands, as if he was enshrining and welcoming some supreme divine object. Devil's magic, sacrifice. As soon as the words fell, the corners of the mouth of the demon sage emperor sprayed out clumps of evil blood essence, and then completely submerged into the sea of blood behind, as if he was inspiring some extraordinary things. With my power, mobilize the great supernatural power to kill all evils. Heart of the holy demon god. On the hands of the heavenly demon holy emperor raised above his head, a chaotic vortex suddenly emerged. The latter appeared like a greedy devil, swallowing the sea of blood under his feet clean. In an instant, wisps of blood-colored light patterns made of ****** aura began to appear in the palm of his hand, and the chaotic vortex slowly faded away, but there was an evil light group only the size of a longan, lying quietly in the palm of the latter's palm. Superior. At the moment of its appearance, all the powers of heaven and earth in this Buddha world suddenly solidified, and the countless remaining creatures looked up, only to feel a touch of unspeakable fear haunting their hearts, like a lingering nightmare. Looking at this small demon heart, the shrine within Xiao Yang's body, Fenju, Shengyang, demons and other forces suddenly became restless. Obviously, even Xiao Yang today smelled a strong Buddha's unease from it. The heart of the holy demon god is transformed by the origin of the leader outside my realm. With its supreme power, it has defeated Xiao Yuntian, Xiao Tianyuan and other peaks in the world. To this day, I don't know if you, a member of the Xiao clan after the previous life, can surpass your Xiao clan. Those ancestors. The heavenly demon sage emperor swayed his palm gently, carefully holding the devil's heart and said with a smile, that smile even contained endless cold and gloomy, and the words turned out to be mind-blowing. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yang's expression gradually became calm, the surging power of holy flame in his body gathered on the god execution ruler, and then Fenju was fully revolved, seemingly releasing a faint light of contempt. There are countless ancient and complex patterns on the devil's heart. It seems to be so small, but it contains some kind of terrifying power that surpasses the sky and the earth. Are difficult to cope with. Xiao Yang. At this moment, I don't know why, the origin of the 10-colored swallowing python in Kalin's body, but the flower ***** imprint in Yunyun's body released a strong unease, and the source of that uneasiness came from the devil's heart of the demon emperor. Superior. From there, they really smelled a moving aura. Although Xiao Yang was said to possess immortality, demons and other powers, the power contained in that demonic heart was even more terrifying than the latter. Endless worries cannot help but climb out from the depths of the soul. It seems that you are very confident in yourself. But, under the devil's heart, all things are silent. Open it up to me, holy demon holy heart. Looking at Xiao Yang's disgusting expression, the dark corners of his mouth twitched instantly, and a trace of endless anger, accompanied by a black hole-like evil spirit, burst out from his body. Among those demonic energies, the energy of attributes is noisy, and there is even a lot of viscous gas, which is obviously the source of countless creatures of the evil race outside the territory. Just as the monstrous demonic energy has just poured out, it is in the delicate atmosphere of the heavenly demon holy emperor, injected into the devil's heart under control. With the infusion of these endless demonic chi, the ordinary demon heart that cannot be ordinary began to rise, the color of the whole body became dark, and the whole world suddenly had a gust of wind whistling, and the sound of a sharp scream was appalling. The heart of the holy demon god today is countless times more powerful than when it first appeared. It seems that the latter glances at the place, and the void is completely annihilated. For a time, the heavenly demon sage emperor cracked a miserable and contemptuous smile at Xiao Yang, and then the latter's entire body withered at an astonishing speed. In addition to the body that withered away, there are actually countless sources of power flowing, and then they are continuously poured into the heart of the holy demon god. The dark demonic heart suddenly turned into a round of quiet light suspended above the sky, and the heaven-shaking evil spirit slowly fell like rain. The idea of victory in the mind of the person. Endless fear quietly radiates from it. Today's holy devil's holy heart has turned into an insurmountable evil chasm, staying in the minds of the powerful people of the Great Thousand Alliance army, lingering. Bang bang bang. The monstrous demonic rain that fell from the whole body of the holy demon saint's heart was so mighty. Although it was said that it could not cause any substantial damage to Xiao Yang, it acted on the defensive light shield in the distance. In the blink of an eye, the defensive light shield collapsed. Among them, the Holy King and Xiao Tianming twitched for a while, and then flew away out of thin air, falling to the ground, causing deep pits of thousands of meters in size, and their figures were in a state of confusion. The energy ripples that overflowed from this little devil's heart was actually so powerful that it could easily disintegrate the defensive light shield that the two demigod-level powerhouses joined together. For a time, There was a feeling of powerlessness pouring out of the hearts of countless Great Thousand Alliance powerhouses, and tears and helplessness appeared in the corners of their eyes. It seems that with the appearance of the heart of the holy demon god, their strength and resistance have become ridiculous. We trust him. The four mistresses smiled heartily, and then helped the two grey-faced demigod-rank peak powerhouses up. With the leadership of the four mistresses and the elites of the Endless Flame Alliance, the Great Thousand Coalition army, which had already been defeated, once again radiated an unparalleled monstrous fighting spirit. Fluctuation. Is this your last resort? Xiao Yang originally wanted to take action to defuse the offensive, but looking at the indestructible fighting spirit of everyone, his eyes filled with relief slowly moved away from the powerful coalition forces below, and then looked at the round that was unattainable and could not be looked directly at. The evil demon heart looked. Feeling the monstrous spirit emanating from the devil's heart, Xiao Yang's expression became solemn, and then he suddenly took a deep breath of cold air and clenched his arms against the void in front of him. An ancient giant ruler that shone with eternal brilliance instantly burned, and 33 holy patterns waved at the same time, setting off its body as a fire ruler. The ancient ruler flickered violently with sacred fire, running slowly, as if waiting for an ancient emperor who could make it exude the power of killing gods. Your power should not just be buried like this. Today, here is the act of slaughtering the gods. Let your folded divine might shine in every corner of the world. Xiao Yang's body burned instantly. The scorching holy flame combined with the burning decision in his body, causing the entire world to be completely burned at this moment. The huge god execution ruler was also under his control. Subtle changes. Fenju's divine might enveloped the world, and with the entry of the fifth realm, Xiao Yang also stepped into the realm of god-level exercises in an instant, becoming a quasi-god-level powerhouse in the three gods realm. As the flames that burned the world began to scorch the world of the Buddha, the heart of the holy demon and holy aloof was trembling slightly, and the evil brilliance around him turned out to be a faint trace of fading. Obviously, Xiao Yang's fearless act now made him feel a long-lost unease. The heart of the holy devil, fall down with everything in this world. At this moment, the heavenly demon sage emperor did not expect that Xiao Yang could actually step into the three gods realm under such a critical situation, and immediately let out a roar. Almost all the strength of his entire body poured into the sacred demon sage's heart at the same time. He seemed to use his last strength to kill Xiao Yang. Burning Dew. God execution / In the face of such a desperate attack from the heavenly demon sage emperor, Xiao Yang's icy eyes did not have the slightest emotional fluctuations. His whole body was extremely brilliant, and then the blood in his body rolled, and he directly held the ruler of the 10,000 Zhong fire ruler, the vast breath of quasi-god. Swept out. At this moment, the whole world trembled completely. It seems that some two gods walking in the world started a battle of gods again. As you wish, this is a battle of gods. The monstrous killing intent of the two quasi-god rank powerhouses poured out, and then their eyes met instantly. At this moment, the void of the entire Buddha world shook and shattered rapidly. Countless violent winds, blizzards, thunderstorms, and demonic energy appeared out of thin air, ravaging the heaven and earth. Seeing this, the powerhouses of the Great Thousand allied forces in the rear hurriedly retreated thousands of miles to the edge of the Buddha realm. Now everyone is trying their best to dismantle the evil imprisonment in the Buddha realm and try to escape from here. Because of the battle between the two quasi-gods in front of them, they couldn't get involved at all. What they can do now is not to increase the burden on Xiao Yang. At the moment when everyone retreated to the edge of the Buddha realm, they saw that in the endless void of the Buddha realm, two dazzling rays of light suddenly rose up, completely covering the entire Buddha realm in just an instant. Two bright rays of light appeared, and there seemed to be endless collision and collision sounds. Those sound waves seemed to pass through infinite time and space, shaking the souls of everyone. If a battle of that level is involved in chaos, even if it is a ninefold reincarnation, a strong person may have to peel off his skin even if he doesn't die. After a short while, the heart of the aloof holy demon was under the control of the demon emperor, and began to vibrate violently, and then endless evil demonic energy poured out from its body, and immediately tilted down like a 9-day galaxy, with some indescribable the power of destroying the heavens and the earth, the mighty gods. It was an evil light curtain, and wherever the light curtain went, all things were destroyed. On the other side, Xiao Yang's eyes slowly closed, and then the sacred flames all over his body boiled, and there seemed to be a colorful sacred liquid flowing on the 10,000 feet of the fire ruler in his palm. After the blink of an eye, everyone saw Xiao Yang gently waving the giant ruler in his hand, and a sacred ruler that seemed to be the purest in the world blasted away from the ruler. Immediately, It completely collided with the shady scene of annihilation. When the two collided, there was almost no terrifying fluctuation overflowing, but after a moment of confrontation, the ancient fire ruler that contained endless divine power was the first to tremble violently, and there were countless cracks on the ruler. Even through the Chimang, an anti-shock force was suddenly transmitted to Xiao Yang's palm. Immediately, with a bang, the ancient Chimang that contained Xiao Yang's 33 holy patterns and the power of burning judgment, then it was completely swallowed up by the pitch-black light curtain. At this moment, the audience was silent. Who would have thought that the heart of this holy devil would be so powerful? No, this holy devil's heart seems to ignore the holy flame and most of the divine power of Jushenzi. What is going on here? Xiao Tianming frowned at the rear, as if he instinctively sensed a sense of uneasiness, and the allied powerhouse behind him was covered in chills, as if he had been frightened in some way. That thing, known as one of the killers of the leader outside the territory, can destroy all immortality, divine power, etc. The Holy King also shook his head. Ha ha ha. Ended. Xiao Yang, as well as you souls of the Great Thousand Alliance army, completely become a part of my territory. Seeing Xiao Yang's offensive being disintegrated in an instant, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor's shriveled and withered body surged, and it turned out to be a hoarse laughter all over the sky. Soul Shrine. Although Xiao Yang was extremely puzzled in his heart, but at this time it was too late to think about it, the soul power in the body was exerted to the extreme, and the void around him turned out to be illusory. After a short while, behind Xiao Yang, a dreamlike soul palace took shape, and the soul shrine was flickering. It was filled with endless ancient auras, and it stood tall like a powerful portal used to suppress gods, exuding endless might of heaven and earth. Stubborn. The supreme divine power of the heart of the holy demon god, can't the mere shrine be able to resist it? In the face of Xiao Yang's all-out means, the heavenly demon Sage Emperor was dismissive of it. Boom. The evil light curtain evolved from the heart of the holy devil roared away, and the entire sky was dead silent, and the next moment it hit the shrine again, trying to annihilate the latter with the power of destroying the dead. For a time, the ancient and vast shrine trembled slightly, and the humming sound reverberated throughout the world. We bring all our strength to you. In an instant, the hearts of countless powerhouses that were crumbling in the back were surging, and then invariably sprayed out a mouthful of blood, the power of the demigod, the power of reincarnation, and the power of reincarnation, which quickly gathered towards Xiao Yang in the shrine. This time, the transmission of power caused these powerful men of the Great Thousand Alliance to convey a strong sense of weakness within their bodies, but even so, they still supported their weak bodies and stared at Xiao Yang firmly. With the collision of the evil light curtain, the entire shrine began to crumble, and a pain that penetrated deep into the bones spread out from the depths of Xiao Yang's mind. The soul shrine is certainly powerful, but once the shrine is damaged, then however, it involves Xiao Yang's origin, life. In the shrine, a black shadow with a slightly thin figure stood out of thin air, and the god execution ruler in his hand released an indomitable meaning, and with the injection of the power of the essence and blood in the rear, the god execution ruler was dimmed. The radiance of the holy pattern that went down became boiling again, and it was even more terrifying than the previous divine might. Feeling the countless vast powers behind him, and seeing the arrogant expression of the heavenly demon Sage Emperor, Xiao Yang's efforts rolled, and a slightly colorful blood essence sprayed out of his body, dripping onto the ruler of the gods. After that, the whole body of Jushenzi became hot, and the endless power of the soul poured into it along the majestic shrine. In cooperation with the source power of Xiao Yang and other countless powerhouses, the Jushenzi began to tremble, and it turned out to be an explosion of a vast divine light. Between the surging of the gods, carrying the soul shrine, a little resistance purifies the evil atmosphere outside the evil light curtain. The latter at this time is like something held by a god's residence, with endless divine might and unstoppable power. God-killing ruler, beheading. At this moment, Xiao Yang's arm conveyed a majestic anti-shock force, and there was a kind of fluctuation that could not be controlled. It seems that with the power of his quasi-god rank and 3 gods, he could not control the punishment. Traces of the ruler? He tried his best to hold down the movement of the god execution ruler, and then the soul shrine began to boil again, and endless soul power shrouded the god execution ruler. Immediately, Xiao Yang seemed to feel something in his heart. First, he slowly closed his eyes. Immediately, both hands suddenly held the Jushin ruler in a state of change, and slowly raised it above his head. God-killing ruler, show your god-killing power. God Punisher. Both hands clenched the ruler of the gods, and there were thousands of thoughts surging in his mind. Immediately, the ancient and high-pitched sacred voice, accompanied by the latter's heavy wave of arms, an ancient light ruler carrying the breath of endless divine punishment, which flashed out. At this moment, the whole world seemed to freeze in an instant. In the shattered world of the Buddha, the only remaining energy of the world trembled slightly, and they didn't dare to make any changes at all. Even the countless powerhouses of the great thousand allied forces in the rear were moved. It seems that the powerhouses who have volatilized such offensives are no longer human. And at the moment when Xiao Yan swung his arm heavily, the shrine hummed, and then completely subsided into his body. I saw hundreds of millions of distinct and vast divine lights flashing above the ray of the god-killing ruler. Wherever the divine light appeared, all the evil spirits retreated away one after another. This blow, it can be said without hesitation, is the strongest blow that Xiao Yan can perform now. Enough to kill God. This video will end here.